What is ERC20? ERC20 is the Ethereum Token Standard to create your own cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain. ERC20 is actually a smart contract, just like any other smart contract. You can create your own cryptocurrency even without the ERC20 standard. But why do we need ERC20? Let's understand it with an example. For example, if I have created my own cryptocurrency with my own set of functions, which means the function name can be different. I can create the transfer function to transfer the coins from one account to another account. I can create the function to create new coins and something like that. On the other hand, if you want to create your own cryptocurrency, you might implement the function definitions different way, different logic, different function names. Now, imagine that if we both of us has to list our coins on the Uniswap exchange. Now, Uniswap exchange has to work with both of us to onboard our coins on the exchange because our function definitions are different. So what do I mean by that? For example, the way Uniswap works is they have to swap the tokens, right? They have to withdraw the tokens from your account and transfer to somebody else. Now, if the function definitions are different, so it is really impossible for them unless they write the custom logic for each and every smart contract who has created their own coins, which is really difficult. ERC20 really solves that problem by making it a token standard. So what is ERC20? So let's look at the official paper on the ERC20. So it was originally proposed by Vitalik and Fabian in 2015. So what ERC20 says, if you want to create your own cryptocurrency, you should have all these functions implemented in it. There are a couple of functions which are optional. We'll see. For example, this name function, it can be optional. The symbol function can be optional. And the decimal function can be optional. But this total supply function, it is a mandatory function if you want to create your own cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain. The total supply. So again, this is the function definition. Your function definition should be the exact same for anybody who is creating their own cryptocurrency. But you can again implement your own logic inside the total supply function. Then we have the balance of function. Then we have the transfer function and the transfer from function and the approve function and the allowance function. And then we have the events, the transfer and the approval event. We will look at all these functions in detail. So let's head back to Remix. So there are two ways to create the cryptocurrency. Either we can take these function definitions and implement our own logic in it, or we can use the OpenZeppelin. So OpenZeppelin has already implemented the token standard and complete logic to create your own cryptocurrency. So we will use their logic because we don't want to reinvent the wheel when we already have something available out there, which is audited. So let's quickly see OpenZeppelin. OpenZeppelin ERC20 and go to their GitHub. So this is the ERC20. So if you look at it, so you have the same set of functions that we just discussed. So we have the name function, symbol function, even though they were optional, so we used it. And then they have the total supply function, balance of function. So you can see they have already implemented all these functions inside it. So the complete logic is there. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we will import this file to create our own cryptocurrency. So let's do that. In Remix, you can do import and open the codes and do @ Open Zeppelin contracts. This is the path where we have this ERC20 file available, ERC20 and ERC20.sol. And that's it. We have imported this file. So which means now all these functions should be available inside our this file. So let's go ahead and create the contract now. Let's say I want to create any USD coin. Anni, which means my name, ANNI. So I will initialize it with A. So create the contract. AUSD is ERC20. So is ERC20, we are inheriting all the function definitions that are available inside the ERC20, which is coming from here. So now we will create a constructor. And so this constructor is for the contract that we have created, AUSD. But there is a constructor inside ERC20 as well. So go back to OpenZeppelin. So you can see this constructor here. So this constructor is expecting name and symbol as a input. So we can pass the input here. So we can do ERC20 and we can pass the name of our coin. So which is AUSD, and symbol of the coin. I'll keep it same AUSD, but you can choose different if you want to. AUSD. And then there is a mint function that we need to call to create our coins. So you can go inside here. You can see this function. It is receiving the account for which account we want to allocate the total supply. So you can choose how many coins you want to create. So go back to remix. Call this function here mint and do message.sender. So message.sender means whosoever will deploy this contract, so that amount of coins that we are going to give here, it will be allocated to that address, which means that person will have those many coins. So let me give the number here. Let's create it. So all these coins will be allocated to this person, whosoever will deploy this contract. So that's pretty much, we have created our first cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain, and it's just like 3 or 4 lines of code. So go ahead and deploy it. Choose the correct file, AUSD. So which is this contract. We want to deploy this. Now deploy. And awesome. Our transaction is successful. And the contract is deployed. You can see all these functions are available now. So now I can check the balance of my address. So since I called this function or this contract from this address, so I should be able to see the balance. So let's check and look at the balance of function. So the balance of function, which is the ERC20 token standard. So this will give us the balance of a specific address. So I want to check the balance of this address. I can click on balance of, and you can see these were the number of coins we created and assigned to this person. And one more thing. So all these coins that we have created, so this is in VE. So VE is the smallest denomination in Ethereum. So you can see we have VE, GWE, FINE, and Ether finally. VE is the smallest unit in Ether. Let's look at the transfer function. So from the name, you would have guessed that what transfer function will do. We can simply transfer the coins from one address to another address. All we need to do is give the address and the number of coins that we want to transfer. Let's say I will pick up this address. I want to send some coins to this address. Copy and paste the address here. And let's say I want to transfer one VE to this address. So as soon as I hit transfer, so one VE will be transferred to this address, and our balance for the main person who owned these coins should reduce. So click on transfer and the transaction is successful. Now check the balance. And you can see the balance has been reduced to 99999. Now let's check the balance of the person whom we transferred the coins. So it should have one VE, and you can see this person received the one VE here. So that's how your balance and the transfer function works. There is a transfer from function. We'll come back to this function later. Next is approve function. Let's understand approve function with an example. For example, you want to pay your monthly rent. So you have two options. Either you can pay the monthly rent manually every month, or you can auto schedule with the auto pay option. With the auto pay option, you are authorizing your bank to withdraw predefined or preset money, whatever your rent amount is, to the property owner's account. So every month that will do it. So approve function is similar. So approve function, here you will give the address of the person and you can define the amount. So now this person is authorized to withdraw that amount of money that you have approved from your account for whatever purpose. So why do we need the approve function? So Uniswap exchange is making use of the approve function to execute your trade. So when you try to swap your token on the Uniswap, for example, let's say DAI to Uniswap or any other token, so you have to sign your two transactions. So in the first transaction, you call the approve function, and in the second transaction, your actual transaction happens or the token swap happens. Now let's approve somebody who can withdraw the funds from our account. So we can authorize someone. So let me pick up the account from here. Let's say I pick up this account. I can give the account address and the amount I want to authorize. Let's say I want to authorize 1000 VE. So I have approved it. Now in the allowance function, you can check for how much amount and to whom you have authorized. So you can give the address here, and we also need the address who approved it. In our case, it is us. So it will show us the balance that we have approved. And as you can see, we have authorized this user for the 1000 way. So now this user can withdraw the 1000 way, and it can transfer to anyone. So now we will see how to use the transfer from function. So in the transfer from function, we have to select the right account who was authorized. In this case, so the CB2 account was authorized, who can withdraw the 1000 ways from our account. So what we need to do is we have to select the right account before calling this function. So make sure this account is selected, and first we need to copy this address of the owner who was the original owner, and then make sure this account is selected who was authorized to spend those funds. So now give the address of the owner who was authorized, because that is what is written into the smart contract. And now to whom you want to transfer. Now pick up any random address to whom you want to transfer. Let's say I pick up this ending with 4C, and I can give this address here, and I want to transfer 1000 way. So first let me show you the balance of this account. So it should be 0. As you can see, the account is 0 for this account, and when I try to run the transfer from function, so after successful execution, we should have 1000 way in this account. Make sure your account is selected, because only the authorized account can call this function, because he is only authorized to spend the funds. So if you'll try to call this function with any different account, it won't allow you. So let's try that first. So click on transfer from. As you can see, it failed because this account was not authorized. So now pick up the right account from here, and now click on transfer from, and you can see the transaction is successful. Now this account should have the balance of 1000, and as you can see, we have the 1000 way in this account. There are two more functions that were created by the OpenZeppelin, decrease allowance and the increase allowance. They were not proposed in the original paper, but they were created because if in case you have approved the 1000 way in the first place. So let's do that. Let's approve this. And now you can check the allowance. We have approved the thousands. So for some reason, if you feel, no, I should not be approving 1000, I want to increase or decrease the allowance. So what you can do is you can copy and paste the same thing here. And if you want to decrease, let's say I want to decrease 500. So this will decrease it. Now check the balance or the allowance. You can see it is 500 now. If you want to increase, let's say you want to increase it to, let's say 5000. Now check the allowance. Now you can see the 5000 was added to whatever the existing amount was there. So basically it is calling the approve function at the backend, but it is adding or decreasing in the existing balance. I hope now you are clear with each and every function that is out there in the ERC20 tokens. What is the approve function? What is transfer function? What is the transfer from? What is the allowance? And what is the balance? So I hope you are clear with all the functions. And that's pretty much about the ERC20 tokens. Now, if you want, you can also deploy this contract on the Ethereum test network. So let's do that. So change the network to injected Web3. And you can select your network from here. So I have this network connected to Rinkibi. So now we can deploy this contract. So click on deploy. Confirm. And now we can view our transaction on the Etherscan. Let's wait for a few seconds. And there you go. Our contract is created. So now let's click on this. And you can see. So our token name was AUSD. And we can look at the total supply and all. Click on this. Click AUSD. And here you can see the total supply that we have 1 million coins. And let's check the holders. So only one holder has the coins. And this is how you can create your own ERC20 tokens, and you can deploy it on your main network as well. Congratulations! Now you have created your first cryptocurrency with 1 million coins and you have deployed it on the Ethereum network. Now go ahead and tell your dad that you don't need his money anymore because you have created your own cryptocurrency. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't do that. You'll get yourself kicked. If you are not following me on Twitter, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I share a lot of free courses, tips and tricks, and also the job openings related to blockchain and Web3. You don't want to miss that. Go ahead and click on the follow button and follow me on Twitter.